If you're a Ferrari fan, you might want to sit down for this one. Lewis Hamilton has just dropped an absolute bombshell about what's really happening behind the scenes at the Scuderia, and trust me, it's not pretty. Make sure you stick around until the end, because we're going to break down exactly what this means for Ferrari's future. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more exclusive F1 insights. The Canadian Grand Prix was supposed to be a turning point for Ferrari, a chance to show that they could bounce back after a string of disappointing performances. Instead, what we got was another weekend of frustration, missed opportunities, and now cryptic messages from their star signing that hint at major internal problems that could destroy their entire season. Let's rewind and set the scene. Ferrari arrived in Montreal with high hopes, but left with their championship aspirations in tatters. Hamilton qualified ahead of teammate Charles Leclerc, showing flashes of the 7-time world champion's raw speed. But as the race unfolded, the painful reality of Ferrari's current situation became impossible to ignore. Hamilton and Leclerc finished 5th and 6th respectively, never even threatening the podium positions, as the checkered flag waved behind the safety car after that dramatic McLaren incident between Norris and Piastri. The atmosphere in the Ferrari garage was nothing short of funeral. But what happened next is what has the entire paddock talking. In his post-race interview, Hamilton unleashed what can only be described as a thinly veiled cry for help. I wish I could tell you what's happening. There's a lot going on in the background. Just let that sink in for a moment. A 7-time world champion, a driver who has seen it all, is basically telling us that there's something so dysfunctional at Ferrari that he can't even speak about it publicly. This isn't just a driver being cautious with his words. This is a desperate plea from someone witnessing chaos from the inside. The frustration in Hamilton's voice was palpable. This isn't just a driver complaining about a few tenths of performance. This is a man who abandoned the team he called home for 12 years, only to find himself trapped in what appears to be a structural nightmare. There's so many things I wish I could tell you that could explain the things that have happened this year, the problems we had, and what's going on within the organization, Hamilton continued, his words hanging in the air like a dark cloud over Maranello. You can almost hear the regret in his voice. Did he make a massive mistake by joining Ferrari? And if that wasn't alarming enough, Hamilton specifically called out the need for systemic change. The mindset for me, I'm like, there's a lot of changes that need to be made in the system. Not small tweaks, not minor adjustments, but fundamental, sweeping changes to the very foundation of how Ferrari operates. Coming from someone of Hamilton's caliber, these aren't just throwaway comments, they're a damning indictment of Ferrari's current state. Remember, this is a driver who helped transform Mercedes from contenders to dominators. He knows what a winning culture looks like, and clearly, he's not seeing it at Ferrari. The emotional toll is clearly wearing on Hamilton. After 8 races with the Scuderia, he still hasn't stood on the podium wearing red. Lewis Hamilton, arguably the greatest driver of his generation, hasn't managed a single podium in a Ferrari. Meanwhile, Leclerc has established a commanding 8-1 head-to-head advantage over him in races and sits 25 points ahead in the championship. For a competitor as fierce as Hamilton, this reality must be absolutely excruciating. You can see it in his body language, in the way his shoulders slump when he climbs out of the car. But the bombshell doesn't stop there. Hamilton's comments come amid swirling rumors that team principal Fred Vasseur's job could be on the line. This is the same Vasseur who Hamilton credits as the main reason he joined Ferrari in the first place. I want Fred here. I do believe Fred is the person to take us to the top, Hamilton insisted, in what appeared to be a desperate attempt to protect his ally amid growing internal pressure. But here's the thing. When a driver has to publicly defend his team principal just 8 races into the season, it's a clear sign that something is seriously wrong behind the scenes. When you compare this situation to what's happening at Red Bull or McLaren, the contrast couldn't be more stark. While Ferrari seems to be drowning in internal politics and structural inefficiencies, their rivals are executing with military precision. McLaren has made remarkable progress with their car development, and despite the unfortunate teammate collision in Canada, they're clearly on an upward trajectory. Red Bull, meanwhile, continues to operate like a well-oiled machine, maximizing results even on their off weekends. Let's not forget Hamilton's specific mention of upgrades. I don't know why we haven't been bringing upgrades. I think we have one hopefully coming soon. The emphasis on hopefully speaks volumes. At a time when every tenth of a second matters, Ferrari's star driver is publicly questioning the team's development pace. This isn't just about car performance, it's about organizational competence. McLaren has brought upgrades to almost every race this season. Red Bull has consistently evolved their car. Even Mercedes, Hamilton's former team, has shown a more aggressive development strategy. Yet Ferrari, with all their resources and technical expertise, are lagging behind. It's nothing short of embarrassing for a team of their stature. So what exactly is Hamilton referring to when he talks about what's going on within the organization? Sources close to the team suggest that decision-making processes at Ferrari remain painfully slow, with too many voices involved and a culture that's resistant to change. The upgrade package that Hamilton is hopefully expecting soon has apparently been delayed multiple times due to internal disagreements about development direction. While other teams are bringing updates to nearly every race, Ferrari appears to be stuck in a cycle of indecision and caution. It's the same old story that we've seen play out at Maranello for years: too much politics, not enough action. There are also whispers about tension between the British and Italian factions within the team. Hamilton brought several key personnel with him from Mercedes, and their integration into Ferrari's established hierarchy hasn't been as smooth as expected. Cultural clashes, language barriers, and differing approaches to problem solving have all contributed to what one insider described as a dysfunctional environment. When Hamilton says there are a lot of changes that need to be made in the system, he's likely referring to these deep-rooted issues. The question now becomes, could this be the beginning of another Ferrari implosion? History tells us that when things start to unravel at Maranello, they can quickly spiral out of control. The pressure from the Italian media is relentless, and with each disappointing result, the scrutiny only intensifies. If Hamilton, who was supposed to be the savior who would return Ferrari to glory, is already expressing such profound concerns after just 8 races, what does that tell us about the scale of the problems? We've seen this movie before with Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, and others who came to Ferrari with high hopes only to leave disillusioned and defeated. For Hamilton personally, this situation must feel like a nightmare scenario. At 40 years old, he didn't join Ferrari to fight for 5th place or to waste precious time while the team sorts out its internal issues. He came to win championships and add to his legacy. Every race weekend that passes without progress is another opportunity lost, and at this stage of his career, those opportunities are finite. The clock is ticking, and Hamilton knows it better than anyone. Hamilton's most revealing statement might be this one: "There's a lot of changes that we need. For me, it's that foundation building. We're not fighting for a championship." The 7-time world champion is essentially admitting that 2025 is already a write-off. He's now thinking long-term, focusing on building a foundation for future success. But the question remains, does Ferrari have the patience and organizational discipline to execute such a rebuilding process? And more importantly, does Hamilton have enough time left in his career to see it through? What do you think about Hamilton's cryptic comments? Is this just a champion expressing normal frustration, or are we witnessing the early signs of a major Ferrari crisis? Could this be the beginning of the end for Hamilton's time at Ferrari, a partnership that's barely begun but already seems strained to breaking point? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.